Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's WWE Reddit video. This is, of course, the series where you can submit your photos, videos, memes, or anything related to the world of professional wrestling over on the Santi's App Videos Reddit page. So if you'd like to be featured in next week's WWE Reddit video, make sure that you check out the Reddit page. I'll make it super easy for you and put a link in the description. As always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I'm incredibly confident that you are going to fall in love with this YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. All right, that's enough. Let's see what you guys sent in this week. Ladies and gentlemen, Drew is officially buried. Okay, but like, you didn't genuinely think that he had a chance to win the WWE Championship at Saturday night's main event, right? I think we all were expecting him to lose. Maybe I'm being a little bit too optimistic. Maybe I'm trying to find a silver lining that isn't there in this terrible situation. But I will continue to tell myself that there's still a chance. I am willing to accept Drew McIntyre losing once, losing twice, but not 3 times, all right? If he loses a 3rd time, then yes, I will get on the bandwagon that Drew McIntyre is officially buried and that he's not going to reach the heights that we know that he's capable of, that he's never going to reach the same level of aura that he had during the CM-Punk feud. I will then finally accept it if he loses one more time to Cody Rhodes. But until then, I will continue to say, at least there's a chance. I feel like a child again. Ah, yes. I mean, aside from the crippling back pain that I have, the existential dread that I'm just never going to be good enough as a man as I get older. Yeah, this made me feel great. This was awesome. I love that CM Punk is a world heavyweight champion. It brought me back to a simpler time in life. And here we are. There is no Seth Rollins. There is no Money in the Bank briefcase to ruin this. The only thing that can ruin it is Triple H deciding that now is the time to pull the trigger on Braun Breaker. I want to see an actual, genuine world championship run from CM Punk. I don't want him to lose it in a month, in 2 months, even in 3 months. I would love to see this guy carry this belt right through to WrestleMania if it's somehow possible. My saving grace in all of this and all of these rumors that Braun Breaker is going to be winning the World Heavyweight Championship just around the corner is that Braun Breaker is not on those WrestleMania poker playing posters and commercials, and CM Punk is, which tells me that CM Punk is likely going to be involved in some capacity in the WrestleMania main event, which might include him holding the World Heavyweight Championship until then. Again, am I coping? Perhaps, but allow me to do so, please. When Vince McMahon was in charge of WWE, he never put himself on the poster of a WrestleMania. Now Triple H is in charge of WWE, and he has put himself in the center of the WrestleMania 42 poster. To be honest, Vince McMahon was way better than Triple H when it came to staying away from the spotlight and focusing on the actual work. All right, relax with the revisionist history of Vince McMahon. I know that there's this movement of people online believing that WWE will be better if Vince McMahon returned. I'll be the first one to tell you it won't be. WWE was at its worst under Vince McMahon throughout the 2010s. I know it's not all sunshine and rainbows right now, but I promise you it's been worse. And absolutely, he's been on the poster of shows. He's literally on the poster of WrestleMania 23 just off the top of my head with his feud with the Battle of the Billionaires with Donald Trump. Oh yeah, the WrestleMania 2000, the Fatal 4-Way. Boom, Vince McMahon, but no, he stays out of the spotlight. The Invasion poster, WrestleMania 23, Backlash, WrestleMania 22. There it is, man. He's all over the place, so I'm not gonna buy this revisionist history at all. Best pyro ever after Batista. Oh yeah, they've been going all out with Penta's pyro recently, man. I'm here for it. Look at this. Hell yeah.
I mean, it just gets better, Wade.
Oh, so good, man. I have high hopes for Penta somewhere down the line that he is going to reach this level of undeniable popularity where he's going to have to get a push for a singles title at some point soon. I mean, he's featured every single week on Monday Night Raw, so clearly they like him enough to feature him on a regular basis, but I would love to live in a universe where Penta gets a proper championship push, mid-card, world, whatever. I'm here for it. He's making friends with the WWE. You know what that means. Oh, we're talking about Post Malone? Yeah, I know what this means. He's going to start watching YouTube videos. He's going to run into the Santi's App YouTube channel and start requesting that I oil up. Listen, Post Malone, he used to stream on Twitch, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's got his finger on the pulse of like YouTube and streaming culture now that he's starting to get into professional wrestling. So who knows? Maybe somewhere down the line, it'll be Post Malone and Jelly Roll requesting Santi to oil up. But yeah, dude, Post Malone is a vibe, and I'm glad that he's getting into professional wrestling. He got punished for this. He wasn't mentioned at all in the last episode of Raw. We talked about the possibility of this happening. We obviously don't know that this is the case. There's been no news that's broken about this being some sort of reason as to why he's all of a sudden been banished to catering to the Shadow Realm. But we're all thinking about it, right? And for better or for worse, right? Because if you are thinking about a wrestler, if you're talking about a wrestler, even when they don't get mentioned on Monday Night Raw or appear on Monday Night Raw at all, it means that they are part of the conversation, that they don't have to be featured all the time for you to want them, for you to have a thought or an opinion on them. And that is a rare thing. So LA Knight is doing something right, even if that thing that he did might land them in some serious hot water. 5 former AEW wrestlers now hold WWE championships. Yeah, we all know what CM Punk was doing when he released this photo. So yeah, we have CM Punk, Jade Cargill, Ricky Saints, and Cody Rhodes, all like pretty prominent faces in AEW. Of course, Cody Rhodes, one of the literal founders. CM Punk, arguably the biggest star that they've ever had. Jade Cargill, one of the most dominant females that they've had, and Ricky Saints, just an amazing worker that they had that I just I felt didn't get as much of a runway and opportunity as he should have in AEW. Of course, Ethan Page, and you're missing one. Blake Monroe is also holding the North American Championship. Dragon Lee was at one point in AEW, was he not? And he's holding the tag title. So yeah, this is, if anything, not indicative of like, oh, AEW, you suck for letting all of these names go. If anything, I think this is indicative of like proof in the pudding as to why we need healthy wrestling organizations across the board. These guys and gals, they either didn't want to work in AEW, couldn't work in AEW, but luckily they had somewhere else to go in order to continue their career, in order to continue to make money, in order to be able to continue to be successful, and vice versa. That's why we need AEW existing, so that people that can't work or don't want to work in WWE have somewhere else to go without having to pack things up and go to Japan. So this to me is a good thing. This is a proof that the landscape of professional wrestling is as healthy as it's ever been.
Refusing to. Here we go. Oh, God, he barely made. Dude, there's a fire in the ring, dude.
He's getting cooked. He's burning. Put him out.
Curly in AAA. Oh,
God. Oh, my God.
That was a sneak peek of this week's Horror Week Wrestling is Cool Match Club, available exclusively over on patreon.com/SantiZap. This week, we're going to be looking at the hellacious Hell in a Cell match between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. The 3 stages of Hell match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H. The infamous WCW Chamber of Horrors match from 1991. The barbed wire Christmas tree match from TNA. And The Undertaker and Kane in their famous 1999 Inferno match. You're going to be getting all of this, plus the Raw reviews, Smackdown reviews, the currently ongoing John Cena World Championship series, and all of the videos and series that we've already uploaded there over on patreon.com/SantiZap. So go check it out. Link in the description, link in the pinned comment. We obviously can't post this stuff here on YouTube because it would just get blocked due to copyright. So go check it out over there. I'm confident that if you try it even for just 1 month, that you are going to fall in love with the content and the community. If you're already a patron, thank you so much for your support. Now let's get you back to the video. Has Bayley's split personality gimmick been quietly dropped? I think so. I never thought that it had a tremendous amount of legs. It was definitely interesting and intriguing, but I always figured that it would bottleneck what you could really do with Bayley, and I thought that we were starting to see that bottleneck appear on screen. It's possible that it might come back with what's going on right now with the Kabuki Warriors and like that relationship, and do they want to be friends with Bayley, not friends with Bayley? Her current relationship with Lyra Valkyria seems to have completely dropped the whole split personality thing that she had going on. Maybe they got backlash for it because that's an actual mental illness that is being portrayed on WWE TV. I don't know, but it does feel from the outside looking in that it has been dropped. Why do you think main eventers are older now than they used to be? Yeah, this is a pretty stark comparison, right? Like when you look at a lot of these names, I think that, again, and I have no proof of this, I think perhaps the reason might be that nowadays wrestlers are just healthier in their older age. They don't take as much damage mentally, physically as they used to back in the 90s and in the 80s and early 2000s. So they're able to have longer careers at the top of their game, as opposed to, like, for example, a great example is Stone Cold Steve Austin, who was just so battered physically in his 30s that like the thought of him being a main eventer into his 40s is just probably seemed incredibly daunting. Enough. All right. That's a quick one. All right, moving on. Is this a hint of his final opponent? I mean, I don't know what the hint necessarily like leads to. Is this like him saying, okay, this is his final last dance? Or is this hinting at him facing a forever rival on this day? I see clearly. Okay, I'm done feeding into the Edge mania. It's not going to happen, but what if it does? Lowest viewership in Smackdown history, 933,000. Yeah, that's not good. I'm sure it probably had to do a lot with the combination of Game 6 of the World Series, like an incredible World Series. I don't want to talk about it, okay? I don't want to talk about it. And it being Halloween. So it probably was a combination of all of these things. But it also is probably because SmackDown hasn't been particularly good in the build-up to Saturday night's main event. Aside from the Ilia Dragunov Open Challenge, has kind of given us some pretty snooze-inducing episodes of Friday Night SmackDown, sadly. Solo is hilarious. I'm gonna mute so I don't get hit with copyright. All right, that's great. The new landscape of Raw. Guys, y'all just need to stop listening to Triple H's marketing speak. He's going to tell you that every episode of Monday Night Raw or every episode of SmackDown or every PLE or every Saturday night's main event is going to be ground shifting, that it's going to change the landscape of professional wrestling as you know it. It's just marketing speak, all right? He's just being a promoter, trying to get as many eyeballs on the show as possible. Don't even take what he says with like a grain of salt. Take it with like an entire like mine, an entire like 30 truckloads of salt at this point. No, please be a ruse again. Yeah, I saw this being like confirmed by Seth Rollins himself. He says that Seth Rollins confirms that he will be out of action for the next 6 months. And I get why you're saying please be a ruse, because the ruse of the century made anything and everything a possible ruse, right? Yeah, okay, Seth Rollins says 6 months, but like, what if it's 3? What if it's 4? What if it's 10? Yeah, I can't believe anything that comes out of this guy's mouth after what happened with the original ruse of the century. Again, for better or for worse. You can kind of take it in whichever face value you see it as. Am I the only one who really doesn't want to see Gunther retire Cena? No, you're not. Like, I'm seeing a lot of people kind of disillusioned by the idea of it being Gunther. I'm fine with it because I do believe that Gunther is like a perfect, like prototypical made in a lab, perfect John Cena heel, as I said before. I do think that a lot of the people that are disillusioned by the idea of it being Gunther are going to be won over by this tournament. The way that this tournament is structured is designed to give us banger matches. And it's designed, if they're all singles matches, to give us at minimum 4 banger matches. And if it's Gunther having banger after banger after banger after banger, especially if the finals against Ilia Dragunov, like I'm predicting, then you might be quickly reminded of how absolutely incredible this guy can be, so that you do get excited about the prospect of him versus Cena. But like, I promise you, you're not the only one. There's a lot of people right now that are pretty lukewarm, if not flat out cold on the idea of it being Gunther. He was definitely hearing voices. These are my favorite types of photos, just like candid photos of famous people in the background, and like they don't even know that they're in the photo, or in the person taking the photo doesn't even know that the famous person is in the background of the photo. That's hilarious. That's a man that like he's cold. All right, he just has to be there. He has no choice. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is this the last feud that McIntyre won? I hate that I don't know off the top of my head if you're right or wrong, but this is the last one I can remember, sadly. I can't think of a feud that he actually properly won. I'm sure there is one, but the fact that I can't think of it immediately should kind of tell you the current status of Drew McIntyre since Mania 38. Oh, in the comments, somebody says 2024 won against Seth at WrestleMania 40 after losing twice to him. I don't think that's a great example. He still lost twice to him. He could only beat him when his knee was busted and he got his ass cashed in on. So even when he wins, he loses. Maybe. Triple H passed across a Knight statue in the WrestleMania Vegas teaser, and the tagline for the event is "It's anyone's game," because this be Knight's Mania. You think No. Can we all agree that Brock Lesnar's return to WWE has been a huge waste of time? Listen, I'm the one that tried to warn you about all of this. I'm the one that tried to remind you that we all, not all, but a lot of us did not like Lesnar's run in the 2010s because he would appear and disappear. He would beat our favorites and then go away and never put over the favorites, all right? I tried to tell you guys that Lesnar was not a great thing to have in today's WWE. And people are like, Santi, you suck. You're stupid. You don't know anything. I'm like, all right, maybe I'm wrong. Nope, I was right. I told you. Thoughts? John Cena versus CM-Punk World Heavyweight Title, Cena's final Raw match at Madison Square Garden. Sure, I genuinely actually could see this, and I'm going to tell you how it's going to end if it does happen. The Vision and Logan Paul get involved. That's going to be the ending, and then that's how you add John Cena to Team CM-Punk at Survivor Series War Games. Wow, look at that. I've already predicted the outcome, and I know I'm probably going to be right. Yeah, go me. The downfall of SmackDown started when this guy got injured. Man, you know what's crazy? All right, we only had Kevin Owens until March, like shortly after Elimination Chamber. Somehow, some way, and maybe talk me out of this ledge. I know I'm being crazy. I think he's still top 5 in voting for Superstar of the Year for me. I genuinely think that just in his first 3 months of the year, he did such amazing work that I have him in contention for Superstar of the Year. Call me crazy. Please tell me I'm wrong, because I know I should be wrong, but I don't feel wrong. Who's the best WWE female performer this year? Doesn't have to be pictured. You got some good ones here. Out of these, I would say Io Sky, but the correct answer is Becky Lynch. Like, between her in-ring work, her work as Intercontinental Champion, elevating that championship, her promos, her storylines, like, I think it's a runaway. Like, right now, if I was doing Female Superstar of the Year, I'd give it to Becky Lynch. WWE's Netflix era peaked on March 3rd, 2025. All right, so I obviously remember this. This is still one of the craziest, like, out of nowhere title changes. I can't play the whole thing, like, perfectly because I would get hit with copyright, but it really was magical. Like, just a moment in time. Like, I genuinely did not see this coming, which is just such a rarity, right? And if we can go back and just like listen to the pop. Oh, what a moment. Yeah, it was so good. I got goosebumps just thinking about this moment. They are playing with our emotions. Okay, there is an asshole working the WWE Vault YouTube channel, because I saw this. They posted a whole nearly 2-hour video on the story of John Cena versus Edge. Why? You know what this is doing to us. You know what kind of speculation this is going to create. You, sir, are an asshole. A beautiful asshole. Thank you for sharing this, because I watched the video and it's awesome. Matt Cardona is a funny man.
I have never been creamed on like this before.
We're not gonna explain that one to the kiddies, okay? I miss hearing this every Monday.
No.
You know what? I miss it too. What a wonderful laugh. The absence of Ilia Dragunov was palpable. I mean, it's palpable now that they're actually using him, right? I had so many concerns with his return that it was just going to be business as usual, him not being used to the level that he should be used. But clearly somebody woke up at WWE and remember, oh my God, holy shit, this is one of the best professional wrestlers and most believable guys in the roster right now. Let's actually use him. And now look, this is how good it should have been the whole time. At least they figured it out at some point. I hate that because of their first match, Wade and Tessitore didn't know how to pronounce their names. Now people are calling him the wrong thing. His name is Rio, as in river, not Rio, and Bravo. They're supposed to represent the Rio Bravo that borders the north of Mexico with the USA. Okay, so I did some digging on this. I can't confirm that this is right or not, but I think it is. I actually, like, if a totally like non-English, like Spanish-speaking person, if you put the word R-I-O in front of them, they might say Rayo. Like, genuinely, they might say Rayo. Now, Rayo in Spanish, for those that don't know, is a word. It's lightning. So you'd think, okay, yeah, sure, Rayo. That's a wrestler name. Lightning, Rayo. Perfect. So I think you're right. I think it's meant to be Rio and Bravo, because that is the river that borders Mexico and the US. You might be saying, Salty, you don't know your geography. It's Rio Grande. It's called Rio Bravo on the Mexican side, which is kind of insane. I think this isn't a conspiracy theory. I think you're right. I think that they've retconned his name to go with what Tessitore and Wade called him to Rio, but I actually think it was supposed to be Rio. Rusev does not like being touched.
Size, absolute freak athlete. He's got that power.
That kid's gonna remember that forever. That's a cool moment. Santi, is that you? Listen, all right, I'm just here to play the game. I'm play the game. And that's the faces we gotta do in order to get views in this YouTube algorithm, all right? I'm sorry. This is the only way for Drew to win a title. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I see it. This is perfect. I love it. Picasso, give it to me. Push him to the main event. Give him a Royal Rumble victory that he doesn't need and put him in the main event of WrestleMania and have him choke out Gunther. Sure, let's do it. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Reddit video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Goodbye. Get out of here.